Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. And today I'd like to take a look at this little card. It's kind of a card game, but it has a little bit more going on than just a card game. There is a board and you do manipulate your minions on that board, so there's a little bit more to it than just a card game. It's basically it's a two-player tactical game. It's called Titan Tactics. And it's basically trying to hurt the other guy more than he's hurting you in a abbreviated amount of time. So let's take a look at it and see what you think. See what I think. The red faction is called the Created faction. They are basically the Chaos Spawn Monsters faction. Then you have the yellow, which is the yellow faction, which is called the Crew of the Returner. And they are basically misfits, scoundrels, pirates, and those types of things that are fighting together for one reason or another. And then you have the Dreamer faction, which is the blue faction, which is wizards, warriors, astral fighters, that kind of stuff. And then you have the Crucible of the Order, which is the white faction over there, and this is an army of angels, zealots, conscripted elementals, that type of stuff. And then you have the black army over here called the Black Brigade, and they are basically cursed undead soldiers fighting for revenge with advanced technology, so that's always cool. The way you win a game of Titans Tactics is by moving the balance token to your red ending square. And the way you move it is by causing damage to the other team's Titans, champions in the battle. So if you score 1 point of damage, you move it 1 towards you. If they score 2 points after that, they move it 2 towards them. And it's kind of a tug-of-war mechanic between the two opposing sides. The other way you can win the game is by scoring 3 monument tokens throughout the course of the game. At the end of the round, let's say that I have scored more points of damage on my opponent's team than he has scored on my team, and the balance token is on my half of the track. If that's true, at the end of a round, I would gain 1 momentum token. And if I do that 3 times, where my token is on that yellow space there, I have immediately won the game at that point. So those are the 2 ways to win. Either score enough damage to move this token all the way over here, at which point you automatically win, or control the game enough to, at the end of 3 rounds, be in the lead, so to speak. Normally what will happen is you choose a faction, whether it's the red, the black, the yellow, the white, or the blue. Then you choose 3 champions from the 6 that are available to you to actually wage war in the fight. Once a faction has been chosen and 3 champions from those factions have been chosen, then take your cards. This is your deck of skill cards here. You have 3 of each color, basically. And these colors correspond to the different kinds of abilities that each character has. For example, if I'm going to, these are my starting guys, you'll notice that I don't have any white abilities that are out here, so white cards are really probably not going to be used. Now, the cool thing about this game that I thought is that you can pick your opening hand, which has been done in other games, so it's not innovative, but it is a cool mechanic where you can choose what you want to start the game with. All right, so before we actually begin the game, I would look through my deck of skill cards and pick which 5 of these colors I want to start with. So, and that would depend on what abilities I want to use right off the bat. Because in order to use these abilities, you have to play a skill card from your hand that matches the color of the ability that's listed. And then over here on the side, you see that there is a target symbol with a couple of cross swords, and then there's a target symbol that's right next to a little man figure. This is the kind of range that person has. For example, this Prime Black ability is only targeted on himself. So the Dracolich here would be able to play as many black cards as you are able. The Dracolich's next attack during this activation deals 1 additional damage for each black card played. So, if I'm planning on using the Dracolich's prime ability, I need to have a certain number of black cards in my hand to start with. The Feral Ravager here, if he wants to charge, then he'll need to play a yellow card. All right, so the range is denoted by these little icons here. And this means melee, this means self. This is targeting someone that is 1, 2, 3 spaces away from you. And then there are some cards that have a little infinity symbol. That means that, for example, that yellow ability there, Snipe, it means that it is unlimited range. It's long range, basically. Once the starting hands have been chosen, each round will have 6 alternating activations. So basically, person 1, let's just say that the black faction won the coin toss to see who goes first or what have you, and they get to go first. So the black faction would activate one of their champions, and they would be able to carry out 2 turns. And then the red person would activate one of their champions, allowing them to take out 2 turns, and then it would alternate back and forth until all of the champions from both sides have gone. Then there would be what is called an end of round phase, and during the end of round phase, we would earn momentum. Whoever has the momentum in the battle would earn their momentum medal. And then any sustain effects, which are denoted by these little gems next to the ability's name. Any sustain effects would be paid for, and then spawns would activate and deactivate. Then the champions would be reset, and then the next round would start with the first player from the beginning of the round. So Railgunner Dresden here, my guy right here, wants to provide covering fire for his sniper. So in order to use that ability, I have to play a black card from my hand, which I do. And then I place a covering fire token on that person. Now, what covering fire does is that from now on, enemy champions who end their activation in melee range, so that is adjacent to Reaper aerial drone, they take 2 damage. Okay, so basically, he is providing covering fire for this guy. So if somebody comes up to attack him, he's going to take a pot shot at him and score 2 damage. All right, so I've activated him. He has done 1 action in using this ability. And then he's going to use a second ability, and that's just going to be moving. But I can either push him, which means he would be able to take 1 more action, or I can plan for my next round, which means I can draw 3 cards up into my hand. So, whenever you draw cards in Titan's Tactics, it is never random. You can always look at your cards and choose which ones you want to use for the next rounds. You have a hand limit of 7. Right now I have 7 cards, so I'm good to go. All right, and then that would be my activation. I would turn him over, showing that he has been activated, and now it is my opponent's turn. Okay, now with the red faction, these are the cards that I have in my hand. I have 3 black, 1 red, and 1 yellow. So I'm going to activate the Feral Ravager first. And the reason I want to do that is because he has the speed icon, which means that he gets 3 actions instead of just 2 per round. So I'm going to go ahead and activate him. I'm going to go 1, 2, and pull him up there. Then I'm going to play, for my second action, I'm going to play this yellow card and use his charge ability. It says deal 1 damage to the target. Place the Ravager in melee range of the target. This ability cannot target the Ravager. Okay, so I'm going to use, first of all, I have to be 3 spaces away from him. So 1, 2, 3. I do have range on him, so I pay my 1 yellow card and I pull him to me, but I also deal 1 damage. So boom, I've done 1 damage. Okay? That was my second action. Now for my third action, I'm going to play a red card, which allows me, it says, if the target has taken damage this activation, deal 2 damage to the target, otherwise deal 1. So he has already taken damage once. I'm going to charge 2 more damage to him with my Rip and Tear. Now he is done. I'm going to flip him over. Now I can push him, just like before, I can push him and do another attack, or I can plan for next round. I'm going to go ahead and plan for next round. Okay, so now as it is now the red's turn, I'm going to activate the Toxic Lurker here, and I'm going to, first of all, use his Lash ability using this yellow skill card here, and we're going to lash Railgunner Dresden here, and we're going to place that marker on him. Now, Lash does 1 damage to the character, but since he's a shield, it doesn't actually do any damage this turn. But an ongoing effect is that from now on, deal 1 point of unpreventable damage to the target each time they activate. So I'm not scoring a hit on him right now, but every time he activates in the future, I'll be scoring a damage on him. And then my second action, I'm going to move him twice to get up into melee range with Dresden. And then I'm going to play a red card called Execute. All right, and Execute places another counter on him, and it deals 1 unpreventable damage to the target. So that moves it 1 this way. Even though he's a shield, it's unpreventable. Then from now on, deal 1 point of unpreventable damage to the target every time they activate. So not only is he lashed, he is also executed. So that's going to, every time he activates, he's going to take 2 damage, unpreventable damage. So that's a pretty good thing. So we're going to end our turn there. Now I pushed him in order to play that Execute, so I'm not able to plan anything. So now it's my opponent's turn. And this is how the game would continue until one person is able to get the balance token to either their red spots, or one person earns enough momentum, earns 3 momentum points, and at that point the game is over. Okay, now before we actually get up and start talking about my complete feelings about the game, I wanted to keep it on the board here for a few moments just so that I could explain some of my misgivings with the game. Okay, first misgiving is these are cumbersome. Very cumbersome. As you saw in that last round of the playthrough, I had to pick both of these up, flip him over, and then put them both back down. I guess you could set them off to the side here, but then that's muddling up the rest of the game board. This is clunky and cumbersome. I don't like this at all. Secondarily, it covers up the picture of the guy. So, I mean, yeah, I guess I can remember who this guy is, and you have the pictures here, but at the same time, again, just cumbersome. Secondarily, if you'll notice, and this is nitpicky, I understand, the cardboard chits are bigger than the actual squares that they're supposed to be fitting into. This thing right here is either hanging off the board or it's crowding into the board area. Okay? Just poor design choices. Either make this smaller or make the board a little bit bigger so that you can make sure all of the squares fit these guys. It's just poor production quality. Another thing that I really didn't like is that, and I know they were probably just cutting costs, but these are double-sided. Usually not a bad idea, but here it makes it really difficult to find the one unless you have them all memorized. Oh, I know that hamstring is on the back of one of the guards, and so forth and so on. I know that lock is on the back side of one of the spawn tokens. You have to sit here and look, oh, where is that? Where is that? Oh, there it is. Okay, now I can put it on there. Again, this is just clunky. It adds to the time it takes to play the game, and it breaks up the continuity of the game. I want to be able to immerse myself into a game, not have to break that continuity fiddling around with components every once in a while. Okay, so that was Titan Tactics. It's a very basic, simple game with not a whole lot of rules. I'm actually kind of glad because of the level of simplicity that this game has, that they stayed away from line of sight rules. The overall look of the game, the actual art on the cards is really cool. This, however, on the back of the cards just looks like somebody, blew their nose on it, unless you actually look at it and notice that it is actually silhouettes of people fighting. But otherwise, come on, you can do better than that, I think. The art style of the cards, though, I really do enjoy. I just wish that they on more than just the front face of the card. Oh my goodness. Can you pick a smaller font, people? Not cool. Not cool at all. I mean, I was constantly having to, oh, goodness gracious, what does that say? That kind of stuff. I shouldn't have to do that. You got to do better than that on card backs. I don't know who made that design choice, but it was not a good one in my opinion. I'm not an artist, but I'm just saying I don't like it. These guys, the player aids, were good, short, concise, but again, small font. You really have to get close and be able to read it. I like the quick, fast, back and forth aspect of the game. I do enjoy that, but it was almost too light. I found myself more often than not comparing this to Summoner Wars, and I'm not sure that's quite fair. And so I'll be gentle with this comparison. But quite frankly, if I'm going to play a game that's like this, I'll take the hit on a couple levels of complexity and play a much better thought out game in Summoner Wars than take time to play this one. I'm going to have to go with the pass on this one. I'm not going to give Titans Tactics any thumbs down. I'm just going to go even keel on this one. A decent, okay game. But still, I think slightly below average, but I'm going to be nice and go even keel on it. So that is Titans Tactics. See you on the flip side, folks.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.